Hey, welcome to the Lifestyle Creation Podcast, designing life on your terms. I'm your host, Jamie Thurber, and I'm an expert operations manager, productivity queen, mindset, business, and lifestyle coach. Basically, getting shit done is my jam. And I believe in the power of intentional living and in real conversations that can shift your perspective, create habits, and ultimately achieve the freedom that you want in every area of your life. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Thank you for being here. This is Jamie. If you guys are new and you don't know that, my name is Jamie and I am a life and business coach, productivity expert, project manager, mindset coach, tarot card reader, lover of all things in life, dog mom, Jeep owner, fitness enthusiast, all the things. I have a large mosaic of things that make me who I am, and half of those things I just listed are like not even the beginning. But thank you for being here. If you're new, I appreciate you checking us out, and also just being here for the real conversations. That's my biggest objective, I guess I could say, of this podcast in general, is having it be a place that you have real conversations and not a bunch of bullshit, not a bunch of nonsense, not a bunch of my own, only my opinion or me telling you what you quote unquote should or shouldn't be doing. It's more of like, here are some things to think about. Here are some perspective shifts. Here are ways that you can, implement stuff in your life right now if you so choose, that kind of stuff. I am available always through email. My email is listed below. If you ever want to reach out or you have any questions, feel free to do so. Today, we're going to get started on a special request. This has been requested of me for actually a really long time. This is probably, maybe in the top 15 questions that I get regularly and have gotten for as long as I've been running my business online. Before we get started, I want you guys to take a hot minute with me and just take a deep breath and loosen the tension in your shoulders. Too many of us are constantly walking around holding this tension up, like our shoulders are up when they should be relaxed and down, and we can take a deep breath and just release that, because nobody wants to be walking around in that kind of tension all the time. That is not pleasant for anyone, and it is definitely causing pain and discomfort and lots of things that you might not be aware of where they might be coming from in your body. So drop them shoulders, friends. Let go of whatever tension you're holding in your face too, because that's another one. People walk around with their face all tensed up or whatever, and it's just like, let it go. Let go of those muscles. So I always shake it out when I release. Like, I shake my shoulders. Anyways, that's something that I've been trying to do at the end or beginning of any live streams I've done, any trainings I do, anything like that, as of lately, just because I feel like it's so important and that it's just a good, reminder for a moment for anyone who may need it. So release them shoulders, friends. Anyways, back to our topic for today. We are talking about journaling. So don't hang up. Don't turn it off, because this is not going to be boring, I promise. I don't know that I try to never be boring. Actually, I don't try to never be boring. I just feel like I don't talk about what people assume I'm going to talk about when I talk about specific topics. So anyways, I've had several people for a very long time come to me regularly asking me about journaling, because they see photos of me journaling, they hear me talk about journaling, they hear me talk about writing, and basically it's like a well-known thing, if you follow me, that I do this regularly, and it's like a huge piece of my puzzle, right? Of my entire journey of expanding into a business that didn't exist before, becoming okay with different pieces of that, changing my relationships, changing myself, changing, whatever. Just expanding to a place of no longer feeling stuck or obligated or any of those types of things. Anyway, journaling is just a powerful tool. And I personally believe that it's the reason why I'm able to continuously grow and expand and stay grounded in what it is that I'm here for, and not get so caught up in the chaos of the world. It's really simple to allow, without you even recognizing that it's happening, something that happens in the media or something that happens, in the White House or on social media or, whatever. It's something like that. It's really easy to allow those types of things to rile you up and take over your mindset and your focus for a while. Because the truth is, we're all emotional beings, right? So when we see something that makes us uncomfortable, gives us anxiety, or is just, bad or good or whatever, we feel and we react to that. And some of us don't necessarily understand our feelings enough to understand what that reaction is in a way that you can let it flow versus clinging to it and allowing it to then, occupy your time for weeks, and every conversation you have for the rest of the day is around this thing. And it's not healthy. It's not healthy. So I'm not saying that we don't acknowledge what's going on in the world or in our families or in our friendships or any of those things, because we absolutely do. And that's what this conversation leads to, which is really cool, and why this tool allows you to not obsess, basically. Because the more clear your mind is, the more control of your mind and the more you understand your mind and your own thought processes and those things, the more that you practice this and you become more intimately connected with what's going on in your own head and your own reactions and those types of things, the better you are at dealing with or letting go of things that transpire in your life moving forward. So it's such a powerful tool, you guys. And here's a fun fact. Every person, I don't know how many people I've worked with over the years total. I should probably come up with some sort of a number, but I don't know, hundreds, I don't know. Anyways, there's a small percentage of them that actually take me up on this information. What I mean by that is a lot of people feel very vulnerable and uncomfortable with journaling. They feel very worried about it. And I'll go into some more detail about that here shortly, of how to identify that and kind of and work through it. But it's the people that don't follow this and don't do this piece, they struggle more. I watch it every time, and it's not, and it is an indicator, because it's not that they're not doing all of the other things, but the mindset piece and the chaos and the frustration, or the frazzled feeling that goes on in our head, is definitely higher in my clients, and the worry and that sort of thing is higher in my clients that don't do these practices, don't take me seriously about it, I should say. So basically, that's my little badge to you guys, or my little thing that take me up on this, because I can see very clearly my clients who utilize this tool, their lives are just drastically different as a result, to the point where if they are struggling or something's going on and they're feeling frustrated or whatever, a lot of times when we talk about what's going on in there, we try to break it down, okay, well, what's going on? What's making you feel this way? They're not something happened and, they somehow fell off of their routine and they haven't been journaling at all. So, that's why I have legit data. Not only do I have a million people who've told me about this, I do it myself. I have my coaches who are, a lot more successful than me as far as financially and growth wise and things like that. They're further along in their journeys that do this. So it's not just me, my own experience. It's the data that I've witnessed in other people as well. So one of the questions that I got that prompted this, and I'm sorry, but I can't at this moment remember what the name was. It's saved in my Instagram account, but somebody had asked me specifically, I think I need to start journaling, but I don't know what to do. Can you record a podcast episode about it? And I'm like, sure. It's one of those things where, to me, I'm like, oh, well, duh. We all have those things that we do regularly or that we're really good at that we forget for a hot minute, that other people don't do those things, or them better than other people because you've been doing it, blah, blah, blah. And so it's just a zone of genius that you forget can be valuable to share with other people. So I'm going to go through a few things of like why, how, what to write and some ideas. So that's how we're going to kind of break through this. And I actually have a little special treat for you at the end that I'll share before I end this broadcast. But the one thing is why? Like, why to journal? Why is journaling a powerful tool? And without me going in full like psychology mode, because I don't know honestly, like to the extent of the proper terminology, like I don't speak about things that I can't properly explain. But what I do know is when our mind is filled, like full of all the voices and all the narratives, right? When I say voices, people are like, oh, I don't hear voices. Okay, whatever. It's your voices. It's the things inside your head. When you're filled with that narrative and that narrative is happening inside of your head and you're not doing anything about it, we obsess, whether we want to realize that's what we're doing or not. But if you're repeatedly thinking about something over and over again, maybe it's something that, that went on, but like an interaction between you and someone else that felt really like uncomfortable for you, that you wish you would have handled differently, or you wish you would have said this other thing, or like it just feels gross and it's lingering, right? We have those things that happen. We have things like, I can't forget to call Kathy tomorrow. I can't forget to call the vet on Tuesday. Shit, I forgot to call the vet. I have to call the vet. I have to call the vet. And so every free moment that we have, whether that's in the shower, doing the dishes, driving our car, getting ready to go to bed is a really big one. We're laying there trying to sleep. And all of these things that we want to make sure we remember start going off in our heads, right? And then that's all we think about. And a lot of people, it causes them to not sleep. And then it causes nighttime anxiety, and it causes a lot of issues. Basically, when you think about what I'm saying, imagine that you have this like sphere, right? So you have this ball that you can see into, and there's all of these things bouncing around in them, and there's no direction. It'd be like if there were no lanes in the highway, right? And everybody's just doing whatever the fuck they wanted and just driving all over God's like randomly in whatever direction. It's chaotic. It's overwhelming. It does not allow you to have control over your mindfulness. It doesn't allow you to be present. It doesn't allow you to be more focused. How could you be, right? Like when you picture that with me, like how could you expect yourself to be able to think about the future in a clear way, to look at what's going on right now in a clear way, to communicate properly with other people in your life about how you're feeling and thinking and what you need, right? We don't get what we need from other people if we don't know what the fuck it is that we need, okay? Big point. This is one of my favorite, I'm going to go off on a little side tangent for a second. One of my, not favorite, because it sucks for everyone, but this happens in every walk of life, every type of relationship, every type of person I've had this conversation with. Well, they say to me, I'm not getting this, she's not doing what I want her to do, and she doesn't want to do blah, 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 or he never does this and blah. I'm like, okay, how does that make you feel? And usually it makes you feel angry and resentful and unwanted and disrespected and all of these bad things, right? That then make us resentful, and we hold these grudges and things like that, right? Well, yes, that's a thing. But does that person know what it is that you want in the first place? Like, are they actually able to provide you with the thing that you're so pissed off that you're not getting from them? The answer is typically no. Have you talked about that? And that's a whole nother conversation, because a lot of people are very uncomfortable with those conversations. They don't want to bring them up. They're scared. Like, all these other things are attached to that. But what it also comes down to is we are not in control enough of our own thoughts and what's going on in our own head and our own needs. And there's not clarity there a lot of times, to where like we can't expect anyone else to provide what we need and what we want if we can't clearly communicate what the fuck that is. Okay? So when you have all of the cars in the world going in all opposite directions inside of your brain, how do you even know what it is that you really need to fix this thing, or feel better about this, or to stop having anxiety, or to identify patterns, or to work towards a goal? Like, it's very, very difficult for you and you're hindering your own growth and your own ability to manage something that only you can manage by not getting in control of all that's going on in your head, right? The insights that come from journaling about, and I'm going to go deeper into about what here shortly, are things that you can't really get from anyone else. So why do we journal? To clear our minds, to release anxiety, to identify patterns, to create goals and objectives, to sleep better, to feel better, to better communicate, to be more confident in what we want, what we know, what we do, what we say. It is a huge therapeutic activity. It is a huge spiritual activity if that's how you want to look at it, which, you can look at it as all of these things. It can be the way that you really identify what it is that you want by doing one of these methods that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. But that is why it's so powerful, because even if you're doing therapy, right? Like you can't have a therapist by your side all day, every day. You don't have a therapist wake up with you in the morning unless you're married to one or, but your journal can act as a good second. It can act as a good way for you to get the shit out of your head that you need to get out of your head. So it can act as that kind of a tool, and it can also act as a very constructive way to create whatever it is that you're wanting to create in life and business in those types of growth type situations. So that's the why. I hope I clearly explained the why there. The how, this is the part people get stuck on. So the why gets people really anxious because they're like, oh my God, I'm going to write this stuff down. Like, what if someone reads it? So what you have to first do is understand that there is no right or wrong way to journal. There are different techniques to use for different things, but everybody's a little different. So it's what works best for you, but there are no rules. I have people tell me things like, I don't want anyone else to read this, or I don't know how to word this properly to where it makes sense. Or I just have to stop and say, like, my neighbor has the cutest little boy and he's like maybe right at like 2.5, and I can see them out my window, and he just went like running like with the happiest giggle you've ever seen in your life. And it just was like pure joy. So, so cute. Oh my Lord. See, it's those little moments you have to stop and recognize, because what a freaking sweetie. Oh, he's so cute. He's got the curliest hair. Oh my God, what a doll. Anyway, see, that's way that you keep your spirits up, is when you stop and let yourself notice those cute little things. Anyway, so the rules thing, like no rules. And it has to be that way, because the fact of the matter is that if we're trying to put a bunch of rules and regulations on it, then it becomes work. It becomes scary. It becomes like, oh, but I don't know how to do it that way, or I'm doing it wrong. Like, no, you're not fucking doing it wrong. That's not a thing. So, and if you're concerned that someone else is going to see what you're writing and you don't want them to see what you're writing, then when you're finished, like when you brain dump, rip that shit out of your notebook and throw it away. Burn it. I burn paper all the time. I burn stuff that I'm trying to get out of my head or like release. When I'm done writing it, I rip it out of my notebook and burn it for sure. But mainly, these are all just excuses, friends. Like, these are just excuses. I don't know what to write. I don't want anybody to see it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to make sense. That's the other part. It doesn't have to make sense. And most likely it doesn't make sense because there's so much shit bouncing around in your freaking head and you haven't given yourself the opportunity to make any sense of it. And so that's why this tool is so important. And it takes practice as well. And also, don't write what you think you're supposed to write or what other people expect you to write. I remember when I'm teaching people about gratitude writing, like expressing their gratitude on paper, they write things like what they think the world wants them to say. Like, I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my house. And while they very well might be grateful for those things, that's not what first popped into their head when I asked them what they're grateful for. But people feel like they must say those things first. And it's like, no, dude, like, gratitude is gratitude. You don't have to only express gratitude for the things that you're quote unquote supposed to be grateful for, you know? Like, again, the rules have got to go. So how do you journal? What are some ways that you can put this into motion? And I'm going to give you a bunch of examples. So how do you journal? One can be as simple as setting your intention for the day. What that means is first thing in the morning, or maybe right when you get to work, or whatever, fits right into your world, you sit down and you write how you want your day to go. Like today, I want to be present and grounded in my meeting today, or in my meeting with whatever. Today, I want to focus. Okay, I fucked that up. We want to say it as if it's already true, okay? So scratch that. Today, I am focused and present in my meeting with blah, 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 right? Today, I am focused on completing my content for the program. Today, I create videos for my program and everything flows nicely. Today, my meeting with Jackie is smooth and we come to a successful conclusion. Like whatever it is, or today I feel great. Today I am confident and happy and I make eating well a priority, or I make drinking enough water a priority. Like whatever it is, writing something like that at the beginning of the day sets a tone. It sets a tone for the day. It can be as simple as 2 to 3 sentences. That can be how you journal. That can be how you start. It can be as detailed as going through and writing something. I have a whole other episode on this, so I'm not going to go into all the details about it. So I'll just link the episode below. But writing your reality, which means if you're wanting to manifest through writing, meaning manifest and call in what life and what things you want, what feelings you want, we can write in a way where we write an entire page about what our life, our business, our relationships, and all those things are. We write them as though they are already the way we want them to be, or what we're working towards them being, right? We write that so that we can confirm it in our subconscious and we can reprogram what we believe to be possible. And that is a long one. I have a really long, great explanation for it. Like I said, I'll put it in the link in the comments. So writing your reality can be one. It's something that I do a lot, almost every day. Brain dumping is the other one. So brain dumping is kind of like what I was talking about before, where maybe you have a million things dancing around in your head that you want to make sure you remember. Write that shit down. Like I will pull out a list and put it in my kitchen. I'll pull out a piece of paper and put it on my counter because I walk past my counter all day, every day. Or like if I'm sitting at my desk working, I'll pull it out and set it next to my computer. And as things pop into my head, I just write them down and then I leave it there. This is something good to do in the evenings as well when you're winding down from your day. It's brain dumping all the things that you wish you would have done or forgot to do or want to make sure you do later this week or, can't stop thinking about, basically. Writing those things down in a brain dump style work, whether you do it, like I said, where you write them down as they come to you, or whether you make a conscious effort or decision to sit down and just write down everything that pops into your head. And it doesn't have to make sense, and it doesn't have to be pretty, and it doesn't have to be anything, but it gets the thoughts out of your head. Does that mean that you're going to forget all of those things? Fuck no. But does it mean that you're giving yourself some fucking freedom to think about what you need to think about when you need to think about it? Yes. Yes. So brain dump can be that. Brain dump can be you sitting down with an idea and going, okay, how do I want this? What's my idea? My idea is a New Year's program that looks like nothing involving New Year's resolutions. A new way for New Year's resolutions. And then I wrote, new mindset. How does that work? We have to focus on reflection. And then I literally just wrote out everything that I had in my mind about what I wanted to teach people in that program. And it didn't make any sense at all. I did use that, honestly, to go back and kind of structure the way I was going to teach my program. But I don't always do that. Sometimes I just brainstorm it out to get it out of my head. And I save that piece of paper to go back to for inspiration. If it's something that I'm upset about and I'm wanting to get those icky feelings out, I'll brain dump everything that's going on, whether it's he treated me badly, I don't feel good about this is freaking bullshit, I'm so sad, I'm so angry, I hate him, I hate myself for doing whatever. Like, why did he say this? I can't believe somebody actually would think that. Like, whatever is going on in your head, dump it out on that paper. And those are the ones that I suggest usually that you throw away afterwards, because you don't want to keep that shit in your journal. Like, boo-hoo. Not boo-hoo. Like, goodbye. Good riddance. Like, once we get it out of our head and release it, and that's something that I will say takes a lot of time. Sometimes you have to do it a lot of times in order to really get it out and be done with it sometimes. And that's okay. That's completely okay. But so brain dumping is another method to use. Writing down your feelings is another method as well, which is similar to what I was just talking about. Another thing you can do is write about your day. At the end of the day, you can write, or like I do this in the mornings a lot of times, about like how the day before went, or if I'm feeling anxious about not getting enough done that day, or those days where you're like, what did I do today? Holy shit. I'll write about my day, and I'll walk myself back through the day, and I'll write about what transpired. And so that is therapeutic. It's so therapeutic to get that out, and sometimes just to feel really good about what you did accomplish, or feel really good about what's going on. The other thing to think about too is you can use this as a wrap up for the day. You can use journaling as a wrap up for the day to kind of reflect on what transpired during the day. And then also you can write a list of things that you want to do tomorrow, or that need to be done tomorrow because you didn't do them today, or whatever. And you don't hold judgment to yourself about it either. It's just a more factual thing. So then, first of all, you can sleep better because then you're not concerning yourself or worrying about all the things. But you're also able to be paying homage or paying, acknowledgement to the things in your life or in your day that you did accomplish, because we focus so much on what we didn't do instead of being present with what we did do, which is the more important thing. So the more you acknowledge the things that you did accomplish, the more you're going to accomplish, because it builds that strength. It strengthens that confidence muscle within yourself and that trust within yourself that is so imperative, and that we don't realize that we're damaging in so many different ways by being so hard on ourselves, or by making promises to ourselves that we have no intention of keeping, or whatever it might be. So journaling can be a way of working through things as well. So journaling prompts or ideas is something that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to create a PDF download that you can have for free that has like a list of questions or thought-provoking things that you can use for journaling. Because if you can commit to making 10 minutes or more to journal every single day in whatever aspect you desire, or feel like you need that day or in that moment, if you can do that, I promise you that it will change your life. It will change your life in every way that I described at the beginning of this podcast, and you'll see a difference. And it's just invaluable, and it's a tool that only you can give yourself. And that's why I love it so much. And that's why I love to talk about it so much. Another thing I suggest you do is write gratitude. Express gratitude every day. And you can do that as well in your journal at the end of the day or beginning of the day or whatever it is. And it can just be a couple sentences. It can be a full page. They do sell journals, like gratitude journals, that prompt you every day to write 5 things, that you're grateful for, whatever you want to do. I say keep it simple personally, but you have a page of paper, you can do that. But it's make a decision on what it is. Again, like gratitude is one that I definitely think you should do every day no matter what. And then the other things, the other options, just go with what feels good for you. And again, I'm going to provide you with that list of things that I know are helpful for mindfulness in general, that are good journaling prompts that you can use anytime, that will always provide you with some kind of reward, I guess you could say. And it doesn't matter. The cool thing about these questions and things too is that it doesn't matter where you're at and what you're doing in your life and in what's going on in your world. you'll tend to get a different response each time you use that question. So it's like it's an ongoing tool, list of tools that you can use forever, and that will always provide you with insight and will always provide you with that growth piece of stretching this muscle within your own brain, of controlling and being more aware and like getting to know yourself better. Because the more that you do that, the more everything else around you flows appropriately. And that's just, it's a big tool that helps so much in every single thing that you're seeing that you may want to create or do in your life. Journaling can help you make this space mentally to be able to do it and stick to it. And again, just be very honest there and write through what's going on. And it just will always be very helpful. So for the man that asked me to make this podcast and reminded me about this question, thank you. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope it was helpful for everyone. Get that download below. Like I said, it's free. You can download it to your phone or your computer and you have it forever. And it's really, you could print it out and put it in the front of your journal if you want to, whatever you want to do. But it's definitely an invaluable tool that you can use forever. And if you have any questions about anything in this topic or any of the topics I talk about, feel free to email me below at me@jamiethurber.com. If we're not connected on social media, my profiles are linked below. Give me a follow, say what's up. And as always, if you liked this episode, if this was valuable to you, if you found any joy or any help in this and you feel like other people can benefit from it, please be sure to like it, share it with someone. If you share it publicly, tag us. We love that. And if you have not yet done so and you feel called to, you can leave us a review over on iTunes. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you very, very much. And I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day.